Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today I'm going to be checking out the Nintendo Labo VR kit for the Nintendo Switch. Now I can hear some of my dedicated audience now. Mike, why are you messing around with cardboard VR when the Oculus Quest and the Valve Index are just around the corner? Well, don't get me wrong, I'm super excited for both of those headsets, but just don't underestimate what this product from Nintendo is capable of, because Nintendo have sold over 32 million Nintendo Switch consoles up to January this year, and they've also sold 1.4 million Labo kits to date. They even won a Game Innovation Award for the whole Labo range. So that's a pretty big market, giving Nintendo an opportunity to make fun VR experiences accessible to everyone. And also this is the first VR product on the market aimed at kids 7 years old and up, which is really interesting. And although I find super high-end VR awesome, I want VR to succeed in the long term, and it's products like this that make virtual reality very accessible to the masses, and we need to win their hearts and minds to push VR forward in the future. So in today's video, I'll be trying out all the different Labo VR kits and their associated games and experiences. And finally, at the end of the video, I'll give you my conclusion on whether the Nintendo Labo VR kit is a good VR experience worth your time and money. I'll also put timestamps to everything in the description down below if you want to jump to a specific Nintendo Labo VR kit or check out my conclusion at the end of the video. I hope you guys and girls enjoy this one, and without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Nintendo Labo are cardboard kits which you assemble yourself into various different designs, which utilize the Switch and Joy-Con controllers to make fun and unique experiences. And this is the first time Nintendo have dipped their toes back into the world of VR since the Virtual Boy, so this is a pretty big deal. With this new range of Labo VR, you can buy the VR Starter Kit, which comes with the VR goggles and the blaster. This will be the base kit that will cost you around $40 US or 35 British pounds, and will be required to use the two optional expansion kits. The first expansion kit includes a camera and an elephant with associated game experiences, and the second includes a bird and a wind pedal. Both expansion kits cost around $20 US each, which works out to be about 17 British pounds. Or you can buy a complete mega bundle, which is the one I bought, that includes everything for $80 US or 70 British pounds. The whole ethos of Nintendo Labo is make, play, discover. Make the kits, play the games, and discover new and exciting learning opportunities. There is just so much content to enjoy in these kits that really offers value for money. All the sets come pre-cut and flat-packed, so you simply just follow the step-by-step instructions which are included on the Switch game cartridge. The instructions are excellent and very easy to follow, even for young kids. The kits will have you folding cardboard into their final forms, and you don't need any glue or tape, and everything you need is included in the box. All the VR game experiences are best enjoyed seated, ideally with a 360 swivel chair or bar stool. If you don't have one, don't worry, sitting on the floor is then recommended to prevent users from getting dizzy and falling over. You'll also notice that there's no head strap for the VR goggles, as holding the headset is definitely a design choice. Nintendo want you to take regular breaks, and you'll see this in messages after each experience, encouraging you to do so. In terms of VR performance, yes, you can see pixels creating an obvious screen door effects, and you'll also see a fair amount of motion blurring when turning your head. But to be honest, the colourful art style of the games and experiences do an excellent job to mask the cracks. So now let's get into the different kits and the games you can play with them. First up are the VR goggles themselves, and these will take you around half an hour to an hour to assemble. Once you've made the VR goggles, there's a wealth of content to play around with, without even starting on the other Labo kits. There is a VR Plaza which consists of 64 various minigames, and you'll also have 33 VR 180 videos to check out, which include adorable animals such as deer, sea lions and puppies, or you can go all retro and see what it would have been like to use the Virtual Boy back in the day. And the most impressive of all is the Toy-Con Garage. This mode is very cool and will allow budding game designers to piece together their own VR game experiences using pre-made assets. All you need to do is simply tie an input to an output, and you've got a basic action in-game. For example, when I push a button on the Joy-Con controllers, I could tie that to a vibrate output, which could make the controller vibrate each time I push the button. The combinations here are truly limitless. Now let's get into the kits themselves, and first up is the blaster. Now this kit took the longest to build out of all of them, and can take up to 3 hours. The two main games for this kit are Blaster and Kablaster. Blaster is a slow on-rail shooter where you have to dispatch cute pink aliens, and you move through the environment and you can turn 360 to take the aliens out. The pump action of the blaster is really satisfying, and pulling the trigger activates a clacker inside the blaster, which not only makes noise but also sends vibrations of each shot directly to your face, which makes this one of the best experiences of the Labo VR lineup. This game uses scale really well. On the streets you have tall buildings surrounding you, and later on you ride a slow track above the buildings high up in the air, which gives you a great sense of height. This game has 6 stages with 3 levels each, and each level will take you less than a minute to finish. And then the game mode has 3 epic boss fights, which are really great. You can even slow down time by rotating the blue Joy-Con on the left side of the blaster to give you an edge on aliens and rack up those points. And this experience really reminded me of playing around with the old Super Nintendo Super Scope as a kid. The second blaster game is Kablaster, which is a 2-player game where you take turns and pass the blaster to the other player after each turn. It's a take on the classic Hungry Hippos game where you have to feed hippos fruit to bring them to your area. The player with the most hippos at the end wins. I have to say I didn't really enjoy this one, although to be fair, I had no one else to play with, which could have been the reason why. Next up is the camera, and this kit forms part of the first expansion kit and comes bundled with the elephant as well. The camera will take around half an hour to an hour to assemble, and was fairly straightforward. The camera has a nice clicking noise when focusing the lens, which is a really nice touch. The two games you can play using the camera are Ocean Camera and House Camera. I have to say, Ocean Camera is quite a relaxing experience. You take pictures of different fish and underwater creatures in the sea, and you have 44 missions where you have objectives to capture images of specific fish. You can dive deeper or raise closer to the surface by looking up or down, and you can even throw out food to attract fish to come closer. House Camera works in a very similar way to the Ocean Camera experience, but you have a cute pet called Fluffball to photograph. You can feed Fluffball jelly beans and move to different areas of the house to take pictures. Again, you have 44 mission objectives to obtain certain shots for your collection. And overall, I thought both experiences were pretty boring. It's a shame they didn't incorporate something like Pokemon Snap, as that would have been the ideal game for this setup. Trying to capture a picture of each of the different Pokemons would have been an awesome experience. The other part of the kit is the elephant, which will take around an hour to 2 hours to build, and I would say this is one of the most complicated to build out of all of the range. And the elephant comes with 2 experiences, Doodle and Marble Run. Doodle is exactly how you would imagine paint would be in VR. You can essentially paint 3D objects and pick them up to inspect them at different angles. Budding creatives out there will enjoy the freedom to create anything they want in a 3D environment, and it's essentially like Tilt Brush on PC VR headsets. What's amazing about the elephant kit is that Nintendo have used clever tricks to add 6 degrees of freedom to the trunk's movement, meaning you can move forwards and backwards in 3D space using the Joy-Cons. The elephant also comes with Marble Run, and out of all the Nintendo Labo VR experiences, this was by far my favourite. I love puzzle games in VR, so this was right up my street. Marble Run is a series of physics-based puzzle games where you have to guide a marble to a goal or a series of goals to complete the stage. And there is something so satisfying about manipulating objects in 3D space to get that marble home. There are a few different difficulty modes, each with 25 puzzles, which adds up to 100 puzzles in total, and a level editor if you want to get creative and play some more. If you like the look of this game, by the way, and want to play something similar on PC VR headsets, check out a game called Gravity Lab. Out of all the kits, when I looked at them, the elephant was the one I was least excited about, but turned out to be my absolute favourite. The next kit is the Bird, and this forms part of Expansion Kit 2, which also includes the Windpedal. This is the one that people find looks the funniest, as essentially you're putting a bird's butt on your face. And this one will take you around an hour and a half to 2.5 hours to build, and comes with 2 games, Bird and Bird Dash. Both experiences have you pulling down the cardboard legs of the bird to flap its wings to move in-game. And I have to say, Bird is a nice relaxing experience where you get to fly around an island freely as a bird. You have to find eggs which hatch into adorable little chicks, and then you feed them the food they want so they grow into a bigger bird and join your flock to fly around the island with you. It's really sweet. This experience gives you a nice feeling of soaring high above an island, and I really enjoyed this one. The game will remind you every 5 minutes or so to take a break, which can be a bit game-breaking sometimes. If Bird was way too chill for you, then you can play Bird Dash, which takes place on the same island but has you flying through hoops in a timed race. This experience works in combination with the Bird kit and the Windpedal. Pushing your foot down on the Windpedal just gives you a little boost. To take part in the Bird Dash races, you must unlock the various areas of the map by unlocking them in the bird mode first. Again, this experience was a lot of fun and reminded me a little bit of Pilot Wings of old. And finally, we have the Windpedal. Now this one will take you around an hour and a half to 2.5 hours to build, and can be used in both Bird Dash and a game designed for the Windpedal called Hop Dodge. Hop Dodge has you playing as a frog, where you have to jump over obstacles being thrown at you by bears. The cool thing about this experience is the gust of wind from the pedal does a good job of making you feel each jump, which really works well with the graphics in-game. Jumping in VR can be quite an intense experience, so they did an amazing job at making this game comfortable to play. But for me though, this was the experience that just didn't hit the mark. It got kind of boring quickly, and I was able to finish this game on my first try. Okay, so there we have it, guys and girls. That's a brief overview of each one of the Nintendo Labo VR kits and their associated games. And I have to admit, when Nintendo revealed their VR lineup of Labo VR kits a few weeks back, I was both excited and skeptical. I was excited as this opens up the possibilities for more people to try VR for the first time and actually feel what it's like to be immersed in a game world or experience. But I was also pretty skeptical about how well the Nintendo Switch could handle virtual reality due to the screen resolution of 1280 by 720, which is essentially being split in half for each eye with a refresh rate of just 60 Hz. But overall, I was actually left impressed. Building the Labo kits themselves was a huge part of the experience, and it reminded me of that feeling of playing with Lego as a kid, you know, building something piece by piece, which at the end you could play with, which was totally awesome. I was also surprised at how robust the cardboard actually is. I think the only way you would probably damage it is if you got it wet or your dog ate it or something. But out of all the kits, I would rank the Elephant as number 1, the Blaster as number 2, and the Bird as number 3. So would I say it's worth going out there and buying a Nintendo Switch just for the Labo VR kit? Well, no. However, if you've never tried VR before and you own a Nintendo Switch or have kids that are interested in VR and learning more about it, then the starter pack is the perfect introduction. For the price, these kits are packed with so much content that really offer good value for money. But it's not really going to appeal to the VR enthusiast, but that's okay because this product is designed for kids and VR newcomers to get them excited for VR. It's also worth noting you'll be able to use the VR goggles for Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, as they'll both receive free updates on the 26th of April, enabling VR game modes. And I really hope this marks Nintendo looking at VR more in the future. I'd be so down for a Virtual Boy 2.0. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you interested in Labo VR? Are you interested in it for your kids? I'd love to know in the comments. Leave a like if you like this video and you found it useful. Make sure you're subscribed for all my future content. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.